feel weird.
Yeah.
Also
Okay.
feel solid. So I'm not sure. Not
What's
sure
playing
what's
in the background?
sort of
I'm watching a sword review, and I'm actually thinking it'd be like really cool because like swords are becoming popular, and this is weak to warriors. So one thing we could just do at some point is use Ford's principles to manufacture a ridiculously sick longsword, and then just like sell a ton of them. Like you know what I mean? Because like this guy does like he starts his videos with, "I'm not a HEMA expert. I don't do HEMA. If you see me doing something wrong, it's probably because it is." And then he just
What's
takes
HEMA?
swords, historical European martial arts, and then he just hits swords into things until they break, which I think is like really beautiful because I'm like, that is like the essence of a sword. A sword is just a thing you hit shit with. So he's like it's just brilliant. I don't know. I'm watching the guys. Matthew Jensen is his YouTube channel. I'm like, what if like we took the Alexandria sword from Dark Sword Armory and we made an indestructible version of it and we sold it for half the price using modern it's just at some point in the future, just because that would just be really cool. Because then like our sword would be, I mean, you go get like, because right now a lot of these are like handmade or they're mass manufactured, but I don't think there's anyone who's like going out and saying, I'm going to mass manufacture the most indestructible, highest quality sword in the market, like Ford did for cars. It'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
but it worked for Ford because a car is something that is like in demand. Like once you use a car, you can't go back to really not using a car because it literally changes your whole life and is something that everyone needs.
Hmm.
It's kind of like you having an iPhone. It's like once you have an iPhone, the reason why Apple did so well, once you have one of these and you like can use it to contact anyone, look up anything, get directions at any time, and take photos wherever you want using a super high quality camera, like why would you not own one? So I
Yeah.
mean, I can't really say that the same principles for the sword. Plus, I'm looking at Alibaba. You can already buy them for like $50 a piece, and it looks really decent quality.
No, but like he does like destruction tests with them. He shows you like they just break. Like even really high quality ones that are used in sword fighting.
You know, how many people are actually gonna be sword fighting with them? Just use a gun, man.
Swords are cool, man.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
one second. Give me a second. Swords are cool, Devin, but at the same time, I mean, it's kind of backwards for the screen, but it says, "Parry this, you filthy
But
casual."
that's I have to convince people that swords are cool for that image to work. Like if
Yeah,
everyone's using
sure.
guns, that doesn't
I have a
work.
filter on the thing, so whatever.
No, that's no, it's great. No, I agree. I agree. I think that like a sword in addition to a gun, anytime you can catch your opponent
Can't
by
hear you. Anyways,
unprepared for is something I'm a big fan.
Devin.
Yeah. Anytime you can catch your opponent by surprise with a weapon system that he's unprepared for, I'm a fan of that.
Okay, so let's sell like daggers that go in the like to the sleeve. Like someone grabs your wrist and you're just like you kind of flex your elbow or do something, and like giant 12-inch blade goes through them.
They have greaves like Batman, like the greaves that
Yeah, I'm talking like those, but also just like a spring sword in there. So like you go throw a punch and it like catches your hand like this, and then you release the sword and just goes like through their arm, just like kills them. So I don't know. That's kind of
I think
like,
a mech suit, like a mech suit, honestly, like a Batman suit, I think is the future.
oh yeah, man, that's totally the future. We're gonna have people.
No, I was talking to my friends about this, and I was telling them, I was like, the future of warfare. I was like, this is before they grabbed Maduro. I was like, the future of warfare is all going to be tactical strikes with Delta Force. Like,
Well,
why
yeah,
would
I mean,
you?
not to like take a side in the whole Russia Ukraine thing, but like if Russia had just put someone else like close to being in charge, gone in there, kidnapped Zelensky, and then put in their puppet person, like they would have avoided this whole thing from happening for like what 3 years now. Like that's kind of pathetic. Like they're supposed to be the world's superpower, and they're getting their ass handed to them by drone strikes for 3 years. Okay.
Oh, I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see some traumatized Russians do some
No, but
crazy
also at
engineering.
the same time, you wind up with like all those other countries came out and they're like, oh, we don't support the U.S. going in there and kidnapping the the president. But it's like, and what are you gonna do about it? They're in, they're out, and it's done.
They're already gone.
Yeah, I don't support it. It's like, cool, man. You can not support it. It's already happened. There's nothing you can do. What, you're gonna go to
I think
war? Like,
it was 6 minutes from boots on the ground to like it was 6 minutes or 4 minutes from boots on the ground to Maduro in the helicopter.
yeah, complete and utter. Like before you can do anything, just gone.
Yeah,
I mean, that is the future of warfare. Like,
in
why?
less time than it takes you to take a shit.
I mean, that's literally what we did with like that's what we wound up doing with Osama bin Laden, and what we should have done in the first place with ISIS is just like in out, none of this like setting up camps. I mean, I get why we did a lot of stuff, but at the same time, like our war with Iran has wound
The
up
Middle
with
East isn't Venezuela. Venezuela is
yeah,
civilized.
true. Um, anyways, back to what I was going to talk about. Do you want to continue with the system I was talking about, or go ahead? Perfect. Um, just scrolling through my doc. Hmm, yeah. So we have yeah. So this is actually talking about what the system actually is going to be. And I basically say the two ways most systems fail for self-improvement is one, they try to tackle everything at the same time and overload the person, and the person just like gets drowned by it, can't really see how it all links together, and then it slowly falls apart. And then the second mode is um what's it because they try to improve everything at the same time. They get stuck maintaining everything at a good enough standard forever and never advance it and actually improve. So what I'm trying to do with the system I'm designing is basically separating out, like you have all the things you like the ideal version of yourself does, and when you're at your best you have these habits, but I'm separating them into like on point zones, which are like identity laws. These are domains you've declared non-negotiable because they protect clarity, agency, and identity. In these zones you either are in bounds or out of bounds. There's no close enough, and you don't negotiate within them. There's good enough zones which maintain baselines. They These domains are not ignored. They're deliberately held at baseline so you don't decay, and don't steal bandwidth from other things. Their job is stability, not excellence. And then there's tripwires, which is basically if you cross this, you put your focus on getting back to like if I go over 200 pounds, say that's a tripwire, then my focus is looking at my diet, looking at my workout, looking at everything that led to that happening, and then fixing those systems. how the system runs. So basically, you split it down into a bunch of different areas, and then you put everything on maintenance, and then you select one area for active improvement, and you run experiments on that one domain, and uh, do research, experimentation, thinking, and try to like you basically just focus on one domain at a time so that you can give your mind something to do, and it's that one area you pick to focus on is what you've decided is the most important at that time, because your mind wanders for a large part of the day. So if you give yourself guidelines of like, I'm just going to let my mind wander about this one problem, you actually wind up coming to like a lot of answers. And that's what I found. Just thinking about stuff is a lot. Uh,
I just gotta grab something. I'm listening now. Keep
After
going.
reading like all so many books about self improvement, I'm like, these all are like good, but if you try to actually implement them, you wind up like drowning in all the information. And if you wind up sitting down thinking about your own problems, you'll most likely come to a logical answer on what you should do in order to improve it, because a lot of this stuff is pretty simple in life. And a lot of people try to outsource their thinking to AI, books, and other people because they don't just want to sit down and put their mind to work. My dad already said thinking is one of the hardest things one of the hardest things you can do. So if you get good at it, you'll always be in demand. How do you, let's go down. Here we go. So the tiers and hierarchies for them, you break it down into identity anchors, and these are tier one. These are domains that keep you governed. If these fail, you lose command on point. And we label these on point. And they protect everything else. You have structural maintainers. These prevent chaos from creeping in. Most of the good enough baselines live here. If these slip, your life gets noisy, disorganized, and hard to steer. Growth and optimization. These are nice to have improvements. They matter, but never get to displace tier one or tier two. Then you have tier four, and these are domains that become important only during a declared season, such as hunting or sprints within business, but only inside of that phase, and then it returns to maintenance. So the idea of this is basically you say you need like in order to be optimal, you have all of these habits, and then you look at all those habits and you rank them on how they affect everything else and where they sit within the importance, and then you just take the top ones and you focus on those, and you allow some of the lesser habits that are still nice to have to kind of sit where they may, and you don't necessarily like focus too much on them, but you still occasionally come back and you look at them and you're like, has this gone to crap? If it has, then you might need to focus on it more. And it's a value, it's a way of
How
valuing
does this
all
help
this
you?
stuff.
I guess. I guess I'm curious, like, how does this help you? Because, like, I see you be very effective in terms of personal organization, but how does that result from this?
It's the purpose of this is to think about, and you have so much limited time within a day. And I've sat down before and I've looked at, I have a list over here. Like everything that I wanted to get done and how long it would take to do those habits, such as like cold plunge, drink bone broth, read in the morning, do two 45-minute workouts, drink a gallon of water, meditate 15 minutes, journal 15 minutes, no phone for the first or last hour of the day. No, um, yeah. So like going to the gym, ice baths, jujitsu. You have all these habits that are good and beneficial, but until you actually look at how much time you have in the day and you rank the habits on the order you of importance they are to you, I was finding it overwhelming to try to maintain all of them. And yeah,
Hmm.
so I'm sure like you've noticed this. Like, I don't know, you're like sometimes, I mean, because of your sleep issues, you've been like, I just need to do nothing besides drink green tea for today. But like, you're not trying to do, like, you're just trying to fix your sleep issues because when your health goes to shit, and you have a problem like that, like, you only have one problem and it becomes your main area of focus. So you can,
Even this company, even like the company and everything is kind of derivative of that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
at
I
the
think
same,
that's kind of useful though, having something that's such a large problem that you can basically declare war against it, and then like every single action could be interpreted through the lens of defeating this one problem. And to have a problem big enough, it allows me to organize everything else around that. It's pretty cool. I don't know, it's pretty cool. So ultimately, I guess I'm waging war against death itself.
and it's not
But
even the thing that makes your problem, I would say, like really good for declaring everything else against it is when you stop like focusing on it. It's not necessarily your life goes out of focus, you start being less optimal. It's like, no, you don't sleep for days. So it's like if I stop focus, like if I declare war on like, if I take,
yeah, I can't. It's a very tangible. Like I really don't get to forget about it.
yeah, if
It's
I
not like I
pick,
have the luxury of going on vacation. It's
if I'm
just
like, I
like,
want to be the best in jujitsu in 10 years and compete and win ADCCs when in my 30s, I'm like, okay, if I don't, if I fall off of that goal and lose track of it, it's not like I don't sleep for days. It's kind of like I start feeling worse. And eventually, this nagging feeling of like, what the fuck are you doing with your life eventually sets in. But with you, it's like, if you stop, you just don't sleep. I can have the big goal. I can have this huge thing I'm trying to accomplish, being the best in the world. But when I slide, it's a lot more gradual of decline down, and it's not just like for you, it's you do not sleep. For me, it's
no,
like
literally when I stopped like focusing all of my attention on fixing the problem for like 2 years because I regained the ability to sleep. Like I did carnivore for 2.5 years, regained the ability to sleep. Um, and then just by like no longer focusing on that, 2 years later, I then lost the ability to sleep again. And now another 2 years after that, I'm just now stabilizing my health again. So it is, yeah, if I don't make this the focus of my life, I will almost certainly die horribly.
yeah.
So,
Plus, like I'm not facing a horrible death if I don't make winning jujitsu. Like, well, I'm gonna. My thing is, I'm not gonna die if I don't do any of the goals I want to accomplish. I'm gonna wind up living in a pretty nice house with my parents the rest of my life. It sounds pretty bad, but it's not like I won't be homeless. I'm not gonna starve. I'm not gonna like die early. It's like, but I won't accomplish any of the things I want to do. I mean, it's death for the soul. It's death for like who I want to be, but it's not necessarily like all of the things of like, oh, you need to survive. I have. So it's death by comfort for me. So I need to, the goal here is to create a system that has feedback loops and measures within it so that I can catch the slides way sooner before before I lose more time than I necessarily need to.
okay, I think we're starting to talk to the audience. I think we should talk to each other. Explain to me how you're going to utilize this system to make us $1 million this year.
I'm gonna use the system
What's the
to.
tangible? What's the tangible? I mean, like, what are the
I
things that
am
we can
going
talk about
to
that we haven't talked about?
what?
Because like our phone calls are generally the things that we wish had been podcasts.
All right. So the idea with this system is to basically, I'm still working on it right now in the rough draft, and there are holes in it that I can see right now. Um, I'm spending the next week trying to patch those up, and then I'm going to be implementing the system myself. And then by living out the philosophy, I'm going to update where it doesn't meet reality and where it falls short so that you can have a system that you can actually live out and not just an idealized one on paper. I'm going to be documenting this process through YouTube on my channel and through talking to you about it, of living this system to basically become very conscious, become the best version of myself, go from weak to warrior, and documenting it through YouTube. I'm going to be making YouTube shorts in order to gain attention from people that aren't necessarily subscribed to my channel already. And I'm going to be trying to use this while focusing on YouTube to then blow up my channel, which I will then turn to by the
Okay,
end of
so
the year.
I want to now.
Give
I
me a
think
sec. Give me a
now
sec.
that
By the end of the
okay,
year, I want to have the system as best as I possibly can, and then publish it as a book or an ebook, and then go on the podcast circuit in order to draw attention for the company in terms of weak to warrior. I systematized how to be the best version of yourself, and this is what worked for me. I documented the whole thing. I went from here to there, and then I published it. You to go online, you talk about it. My understanding is you need a project on YouTube, like your health, fixing that is what your audience can get behind. And they like seeing how you
well,
built something over
it's
time. Wait,
also
give me a second. They like seeing how you built stuff over time. So by making the system, which is really what I've been trying to do this whole time, is how do I be the best version of myself? And I've given talks about certain aspects of it, but I haven't really pulled it together into a single way of doing it, or a single system that then shows how everything else, like a single structure that shows how everything is related to everything else. So by doing that,
you don't need. I mean, the real system though, the real project is ultimately, I would say world domination, but in order to dominate the world, you really only need to dominate North America. And in order to dominate North America, you really only need to dominate the American Northeast. So I would say that that's really the long-term project because at the end of the day, if your business can't take over the world, then you're just hoping that the people whose businesses can take over the world won't run you out of business. Fundamentally, like that's how I see it. And I think there's a lot of historical precedent for that because the main thing that businesses do isn't work productively with each other to better the world. It's engage in destruction of those who they perceive to be their competitors. And because the
well, I
currency
think
isn't
YouTube, I
even
think the main
like the
demographic of
currency isn't
YouTube.
even money. Like
But
the currency isn't
that's
even
off
money.
topic for what I'm talking about. The main demographic of YouTube is like 14 to 21-year-old men who are
Yeah, military age men. So we're going to recruit them to take
no,
over New
no,
England.
but military aged men who have issues because they grew up vaping, masturbating with porn, constantly being distracted by social media. So I'm making a system that shows exactly how you overcome all of those things and be the version of them that they know they can be. And I'm going to document the process and then publish it as a book, go on the content podcast circuit with it. And then those people are going to be like, oh, wow,
Okay.
look at what he did. And I'm like, yes, this is how you go from weak to warrior. And if you want to talk to me more about it, then like I can do stuff like that. And that's my idea is, as a man growing up, being slightly older than the people who are out there now, I know how I've dealt with a lot of those issues. I'm trying to put it into a structure that other people can adapt so that they can also deal with the same issues and overcome them. Because I see a lot of the issue nowadays is life is so comfortable that people are derping and not pushing themselves to be the person they know they can be. And by showing, first off, what is derping, showing people how you overcome that and how you stay conscious, because that's really what the system is. It's a system for staying conscious so that you don't fall back into those lesser habits. And by being conscious, you then allow yourself to notice the world around you and better take advantage of opportunities as they come up. So that's my goal. And I'm talking to you about this because I know you're.
Is that divorceable? I guess like what I'm this is sort of, and this is interesting because this is a sort of aspect of my thinking that it comes out when we're talking about this. And I think it might simply be because if you draw a vector between where I'm at mentally, if you draw like if you start with like let's say like you have where you're at and then you have where I'm at, you draw a vector between these 2 points and you continue the vector for two things happen. I think one, I think that the vector is in the the vector is in the direction that we're already going. So I think that if you follow that vector, you simply see where we're going. And where we're going is where Nietzsche went, where all of the greatest minds of the past several millennia that we have in written record went, which is like the same way Plato imagined republics, and now we're living in a republic. Other people imagined other things that would come to pass, and those things are coming to pass. And like the thing is, I don't think self improvement is separable from warfare. Like, I actually don't think that it's possible to improve unless you have something that unless you have like a campaign, I guess. Because I would even
What do you
like
mean by campaign?
I think that you're a reasonably well balanced person mentally. But I think that the reason why you've been able to develop yourself so well, one of the reasons you've been able to develop yourself so well is because you participated in my war. Like, I don't think that you get the level of organization you're at now without participation in my war. But again, I don't get to engage with my own problems to the degree that I have unless I created a system that by solving insomnia, I also set myself up to become wildly successful beyond my wildest dreams and without um obvious ability for someone to exploit a flaw in my reasoning to outcompete me or undermine my life's work, which results in the yes, baby, making a video with Jason or talking to Jason, but like explaining an idea. I don't know. I will in a moment. Okay. So
First off,
I think
look at
that,
the
but I
shirt.
again though, I think the only reason I get to be sane and overcome insomnia is because my ancestors perceived the same problems that I perceive in the culture. Like basically what's going to happen is that you're going to have like the insistence on equality we've had since the birth of Western democracies after the American French Revolution. First of all, immediately created Napoleon, but second of all, is only going to, as European civilization transitions to the Americas, create more Napoleons in different areas. Like, if you think about it, Elon Musk is basically the Napoleon of space. Like, he's basically space Napoleon, right?
Right,
People just don't
right.
perceive it that way, but that's what he's
Wait,
doing. Like, you want to get
wait.
to
Two
space, you
things.
got to
Now
talk to
you're
Elon.
drifting a little.
I'm not drifting. I'm not drifting.
Wait,
I'll wrap it in. I'll tie it in. Tie it in.
10 minutes.
So basically, what I'm saying is, I don't think that, but like Okay, I have only oriented myself within the world by orienting myself within the framework of all the greatest thinkers of Western history. So I don't really think you have self in they were all warlike. They were all conquest minded. They were all thinking about um service of the truth, the one true God who is also the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts, like we're talking about truth, we're talking about life, we're talking about the way. These things all describe God. God in the Old Testament is the Lord of hosts. A host is an army. God is the Lord of the concept of an army. This is a militant worldview.
The whole world militant, or else you get conquered.
Yes, by necessity. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that you have self improvement or organization or focus or written history or a sense of self without a sense of something to fight. And the more clearly you can
Does that need to
articulate
be an
that and the means
actual
for doing it, the
person,
more
or
conscious you
can it solely be mediocrity and derping?
mediocrity. You can't fight mediocrity because that means fighting mediocre people, which means you're going to reduce your fighting force
Give me
and
two
get
seconds.
eliminated. So it has to be
I'm busy.
um
No, come on. No, I'm busy. Give me 10 minutes. All right.
it has to be it has to ultimately be like I don't think you can fight an idea per se. Maybe you can. I mean, I don't know.
Well, let's
Like I
see.
don't know. This is because
First off,
I'm kind of fighting an idea.
yeah,
But
meeting
it's not an
has.
idea, it's actually physical symptoms.
All right.
So I'm fighting the conditions that precipitate
Wait,
physical
Gary,
symptoms. Yes.
give me a second. Part of why. So for the people watching, for the next couple of
Hmm.
videos, no. For the next couple of videos, I am going to make diagrams showing how this whole thing actually connects together, because I get how it can be extremely confusing what I'm talking about so far, because it does connect. The second thing is the point of this, and why it basically is very encompassing, is by systematizing basically everything. I hope to have a bird's eye view where I can then look at the system and see how everything relates together in order to like not get caught up necessarily inside of it. And as long as I can maintain a view of how everything relates to everything else, I can determine what is best. I can see um, what offers the most leverage without getting caught up inside of certain thoughts, like I was when I was hunting, and I wasn't seeing how everything was relating to everything else. I slowly get caught up in the idea of, oh my God, I'm killing deer. How many deer can I possibly kill before the season ends? Because I can just go online and buy more tags. So I don't want that to happen again, and this is the current method that I'm trying to do it. Um, yeah, you can go on.
Hmm.
All right. Yes, I will have diagrams within the next week showing exactly how the system relates together, and I'll also probably do like a 3 hour breakdown of the whole system on my YouTube channel where I talk about exactly what it looks like. Keep in mind at this stage it is currently extremely rough thing because only part of the system has actually been lived through. And I'm solely in the part of just doing the breathing every morning, and then I'm going to be implementing the system in the next, well, starting about a little more than a week from today. And
Okay,
once I
okay,
start implementing it,
I gotta
like,
chime in now. So um I think Jason thinks this is gonna be some sort of a daily show. This ain't gonna be a daily show. If you want to find out what I'm up to, you gotta study me like a freaking jungle cat studies its prey. This is gonna be me updating Jason and getting us up to speed on precisely the actions that we need to take in order to um, get what needs done done. I think that's what I need now because I think that this like And I'll get into the reasons for that because ultimately we could sort of explain what we've already figured out. But at the end of the day, there's always more stuff to figure out. And fundamentally, when he's talking about not wanting to become obsessive again, I'm working on becoming as obsessive as possible at creating relevant content on this topic because my brain hasn't worked well enough for me to actually articulate things for the past 2 years. So I'm going to articulate as much stuff as humanly possible on my YouTube channel while studying the paths of human attention via social media and experimenting with that, and then communicating the results of my experimentation while also adapting plans. So what I'm thinking for like what I like ultimately think that, I mean, let me think about this. So we got
4 minutes.
this call's gonna end soon. We got 4 minutes left. Um I don't think our online presence is supposed to be comprehensive. I think our online presence is it's simply enough that it's there. Like at the end of the day,
Yours
people,
doesn't have to be, but I'm specifically trying to do. I have the idea for what I want to do with my channel and how I want to run it. I'm also going to be making videos that are just like when thoughts pop into my head, I'm like, oh, this is an interesting idea. I think people would like. I'll also be making my spearfishing videos, some videos on hunting, and just the stuff that's on my channel right now, but I'm also going to be adding a lot of videos talking about the system and how it's going because that is something I'm focusing on right now.
yeah, a lot of this is also allowing us to turn our communications into productive stuff because
Oh
like
yeah,
I
I mean,
just
I
spend
think
most of the day just eating raw
our
because like
communications are so good that at least sometimes the ideas we talk about that I voice record most of them, except I don't think people are really willing. Okay, not as many people
they would listen to voice recordings.
not as many people are would find it would like to listen to voice recordings as they would like to also see the video and see what's
But
happening.
that's the point. The point is that
So
ultimately YouTube becomes a sales funnel for generals for leading the conquest of New England and the North America and the northeastern section of North America. Because ultimately you need people with an attention span who are interested in these ideas in order to help you conquer areas. So
yeah,
I think the more abstract, like the more bizarre and fringe our content is and the less mass appeal it has, the more will appeal to the specific kinds of people who will help us implement the
the
ideas.
one thing I have to say about that is I think I will be doing this for your channel and my channel, where I want to similar to what Chris Williamson did with his health issue video, where there is a certain video format you can do with cuts and storytelling that generally winds up getting at least 40,000 views, and somewhat taking off because people like hearing the stories, they like seeing how things evolved over time and they're generally interesting.
I
And
agree. We can
they're
always do
also,
one of those.
yeah, we're gonna be doing, I want to do like one of those at probably once a month, once every 2 months
That
for the
falls into
channel.
studying how attention works on social media. Because at the end of the day, like that's the other thing too, is like YouTube doesn't penalize us for having all of these videos. So in some sense, and that's something we've
No, because
realized
people can
because
just
other
go and
channels,
click most
oh,
popular
it's gonna
and see
end
our most
soon.
popular videos. Okay, let's just end it right here. I have to go
Okay.
help with the groceries. Bye.
All right. Love you. Bye.